All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. So today we're going to be talking about Google, and specifically the Google Pixel Fold. Now I have a ton of Google devices. I bought all of Google's latest devices, and I just felt like it was a must because I like Google's current lineup. Meaning, I bought the Pixel Fold, I bought the Pixel 7a, and I bought this beautiful device right here, the Pixel tablet. It's phenomenal. So I'm a huge supporter of Google products. I think it's important to note that when you want to support a brand or you like something about a brand, I think you should, and I still have my other Pixels too. Let me show you here. 7A, 7. Ooh, it's 7. I'm not going to lie, I haven't used my 7 in a minute. Ooh, boy. Yeah. Oh, boy, that 7 is so beautiful. I did sell the 7 Pro a while back, but the 7 will probably stay. I like the. I want to keep something from the lineup, and I still have the 5A, the 4A. I have those over there too. So this is the 7A, 7, and 6A, and then I have some of the other ones. But this is Google's current look right here. So, the Pixel Fold is their first attempt at greatness in the folding game, and I got to admit, with some shortcomings, this is still a great device. And I really hope that Google listens to their consumers and works on some of the things I'm getting ready to point out. Now, I'm not saying I'm the say all, be all, final step. You might have some concerns, and please, by all means, address them with Google. Don't hit my comment section complaining about what you hate about Google and how you're not buying Google anymore, but you're here. So if you don't like Google, quick disclaimer, if you don't like Google products, I'll give you a second to exit, because there's no use in you being here and you hate Google so much. You say, and you give this long dissertation of why you're not buying Google anymore, but you're still here watching Google videos. So if you don't like Google Pixel devices, moment of silence for you to go ahead and exit. Now, for Team Pixel and everybody else who supports Google and who likes Google products, here's what I have to say about this device. First off, they could improve this hardware. Now, right now, as it sits in the US, Samsung is the top of the food chain when it comes to folding devices. They've made their mark. Here's their latest device right there, the Pixel, the Z Flip 5, and here's the Z Fold 5. They've made their mark. And I'm also recording with the S23 Ultra, if you wanted to know. I've been loving how crisp the S23 Ultra has been doing lately, and I just put the iPhone aside, and the S23 Ultra is it's doing great. So what Google could do with this hardware is definitely improve it. Now, not switching it up too much, this phone, I don't know when they started with this design, but I do know this phone should have this design. That's what I think. I think that they could have very well sloped off the cameras to this edge right here, just like they have this. Why they didn't do that, I don't know. I don't know. They can keep this same camera bar, and sloping it off will make it appear thinner. It'll make it appear like it's more sleek. Here's an example right here. This slopes off into the side body. They definitely could do this. And with the next iteration of this device, folks, as much as I love how great these photos are, after owning this device for a little bit, I do not like how the back of this phone looks. It's kind of like what the Surface Duo 2 looks like. Hideous. I didn't like the Surface Duo 2, the way it looked on the back, and I don't like the way this looks on the back. I think it looks silly. But the way to compensate for that, that's how you remove the bar. Yeah, but I don't want to cover up this beautiful device. I don't want to cover it up. This is how I'm wearing. This is how I'm rocking my Pixel Fold, man. I'm going outside with no case, nothing, man. I have cases, and I just don't want to wear them. I just like to feel the device. I got deep pockets, so it'll sit down in there deep, and if it falls out, if it gets out of my pocket, it gets out. But I want to feel the device. But this camera, this rear bump here. I'm serious. After owning this for a little bit, I know we don't look at the back of our devices very often, but this looks hideous to me. Look how sexy these camera bumps look. Seriously. I mean, Samsung's camera bump has improved greatly over the years, and this is what they're rocking with. It's kind of like a 3D effect type deal right here. You know, I'm not telling you to do what Samsung's doing, but do what you're already doing on your other Pixels, man. Put this bar on this phone. It totally can be done. Totally can be done. There's no reason why the back of this phone is so ugly like this. It's hideous. I mean, after owning this now for I think almost 2 months, I don't know how long I've had it. Whenever it launched, that's when I got it. So this is hideous. This is not a good look on the back of this beautiful porcelain device. Shout out to Team Porcelain. Team Obsidian, you know, a lot of those guys are switching over to Team Porcelain, and some of them are buying porcelain style color cases. Yeah, I mess with JoJo. Shout out to JoJo, man. She wanted that porcelain, but unfortunately her deals with the Pixel Fold just kept falling through. But at least she got the Pixel Fold, and she's now rocking a porcelain case on it. So she's Team Porcelain temporary. I give her a pass. But Team Porcelain, this is a beautiful device. The device itself is just a beautiful color combination. Yeah, it's just beautiful. I love it. It's beautiful. But this is a hideous back, and they for sure could have done the back of this phone like these right here. There's no reason why they couldn't have. And even if they say, well, we couldn't fit, it needs to be this high off of there, the module, well, it's about the same as this. You can still slope it over, I guess. Now, another thing that they're going to have to improve on is you see this edge over here, it needs to be smaller. It needs to be that way. It needs to cut some more of that off. They totally can do it. And they can keep these screen sizes the same. Like if you look at it from this side, see where the hinge is? It's basically the hinge. So they're going to have to shrink this hinge on the next iteration of this, because that right there is just all hinge. So they're going to have to shrink the hinge on the new model. Straight up. Strip them down. You're going to have to shrink it. No ifs, ands, or buts. Shrink that hinge. It'll make for a smaller device. See, that's why Samsung shrank theirs. It makes for a smaller looking device. See what I mean? Look at the fold. Now, obviously, this is the first time the hinge on the fold has been this slim, and this is Google's first attempt. And this isn't like a big, major hinge or anything like that, but point is, they need to shrink that hinge, and then it'll make for a smaller footprint as well. Yeah, it'll make for a smaller footprint, and it'll just be better. So the fact that the hinge is already small, and they need to bring it in some more. Now, they might say, hey, we got to cut off a little bit of the screen. It'll still be a nice, wide display. What would you rather have? This boxy squared off side over here? Right? Really boxy? With a bigger hinge? Or cut a little bit of the display off if they have to and shuffle it over. It's still going to have a big display. It'll be at least 5.5 or 5.6. If they chop it over and bring it over a little bit, and it'll be even better in the hand. So again, this is just my opinion after owning this device for a little bit. I think these are the improvements they need to do. They need to make that hinge a little smaller, and I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit of the display because it'll never be as skinny as this. So yeah, just cutting off a little bit of that display, it'll never be, it's still going to be very manageable, and it'll still be really good. Now, I was talking about the cameras. Now, here's an area where they're going to have to improve. Now, you know, I just got done telling you that I'm recording with the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. Folks, the Galaxy S23 Ultra is the be-all, kill-all, say-all, and is currently probably getting ready to be the phone of the year. In my book. I've given Pixels phones of the year for several years, and Samsung's got it a couple times. But the Ultra that I'm recording with is phenomenal. Now, where Google does great, shout out to my man Joe. Get your car detailed with my man. That dude got mad skills. This picture, obviously, is taken on the Pixel Fold. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful photo. Great detail. I mean, look, I'm zooming and I'm still going. It's just beautiful. I posted those on social media. Beautiful, beautiful detail. Look at the Tesla shining out there. He came by, he does mobile detailing. Look on my social media, you'll see. So, and I got some night photos that I took too. Let me see if I can find those night photos. Where are they at? Let's see here. Yeah, I took a couple of night photos. Oh shoot, I don't know where they're at. But I got some photos of the engine bay of my Corvette. And it does a phenomenal job. I mean, stupid. The cameras for photos are just dumb, ridiculously good. They have dialed in their AI and they have dialed in their photos. But what they have not dialed in is their video. And this is coming from a person who, I'm not an expert on video. I just know how to point and shoot, which is what the world does. There's not, you might think there's a bunch of photographers online doing YouTube videos where they're outnumbered by other people, just regular folks. They don't have time to be on YouTube creating videos all the time. And a lot of the camera reviews that you see on YouTube from people who do cameras, it's just that, a review. You know, the regular people don't use manual mode. They use auto mode. So 4K 60 and HDR10, beautiful. But on the Google Pixel Fold, it needs to be improved. We need to have better video on the Pixel devices, man. You cannot master the art of photos and then somewhat fail in the area of video. And the reason I say somewhat fail, and yes, it's bringing me to tears, I have to say this. Okay, look, you see how I got my enhanced voice on, but it's not on. I got to go back to 30 frames per second, and then I get my enhanced audio, and I get my 10-bit HDR. Now, 30 frames per second is the proper frames per second. Let's be clear here. But I tend to shoot in 4K 60 because I like how smooth it is. And if I want to slow the video down or something like that, it's going to be really nice. And that will be at 120 frames per second too as well. But I can tell you that Google has not improved the cameras. Well, they've improved their cameras, but video is still lacking. They focused on video when they brought out the 7, I think it was, right? The 7 Pro and the 6 Pro. I think they were saying, oh, the video's improved. And the video had improved for a Google device, but you still don't have unlimited recording. Like Samsung devices have pretty much unlimited recording. Apple devices have unlimited recording. Apple devices have unlimited recording at 4K 60, and very seldom, it's maybe only cut off on me once, but an Apple device will let you record until the memory's gone. As long as it's cool enough, if the device stays cool, it's going to keep recording. Google is nowhere near that. All you experts out there, oh, it's the chip. It's the chip. You guys don't work in IT. You don't build chips. You're just assuming that's what it is because your device overheated and cut off, or we really don't know the real reason why Google does not allow certain things with their video cameras. We don't really know. We're just keep it a buck. You're not an engineer. Well, most people aren't engineers. Barry's an engineer, but he doesn't specialize in like cell phones. He has a real job as an engineer, and cell phones might be a side passion for him, but I don't think he's putting in that much emphasis on why a cell phone camera isn't doing something. I'm sure he didn't go to college to be an engineer to figure out why a cell phone camera isn't allowed to do something. So the people who work in the industry who's putting these things together, they know why they don't allow it. They know why this phone cuts off for video recording. My Project 13 was driving and he had his phone in the thing and he was just waiting for it to cut off. He was doing it with the Fold and all those other things. And he did it with Samsung too, I believe. But any phone can cut off and overheat. There's a lot that goes into doing that though. Most of the time it's the processor, but sometimes it could be something else. Nonetheless, Google's camera for video, all I'm saying is it needs to be improved. I was on a shoot somewhere and I was doing something for my car channel and I had this phone, the S23 Ultra, and I had the Fold 5. And the Fold 5 and the S22 Ultra were great. I mean, they were good, man. I wanted to use the footage. But when I pulled out the Pixel Fold, the colors were different on the video. It just didn't look accurate. It wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough for me to use for video. And even though I was on a bright setting, it still didn't look right. And that's just personal preference. Cameras need to be improved for video. Oh, you've dialed in your photos. We know that. I can use thumbnails on photos with Google. I create them all the time. Take a picture, go to remove.org and remove the background, put it into Canvas, start creating. Or just drop it in there and start creating on Canvas. But Google has to do more when it comes to video. I'm still not sold yet on their video cameras. And for this phone to cost $2,000 after taxes, as a person who uses devices for video, I'm going to need a little bit more, Google. I'm going to need some more. I don't appreciate it. And then more so on cameras, they have a front camera right here. And it's decent at best. Like, you see that there? It is decent at best. Better than Samsung, but decent at best. And as soon as you flip that on, look at the message that you get. Try a higher quality with the selfie camera. It wants you to use the other camera. It wants you to do this right here. And it wants you to switch to using those cameras. And look at how much different and better quality it is for a regular photo. That's what it wants you to do. So why put those cameras in there? Why put this camera in here? If you're just going to dump anything in there? They're not the only one doing this. Samsung is doing it too. Now, I have taken photos with that inner camera, and it's great. As a matter of fact, let me see if I'm going to pause and take one right now. Hold on. Just took that right now. Great portrait shot. Ignore my gray. Try to keep it cut off. I got to cut it off again. But great portrait shot. You see my shoe rack, my TV, my banners, and my printer, and my filing cabinet. But you see me out front. That's the most important thing. That's from this front camera. And if you notice, you're going to say, well, Jay, you always take portrait shots. You don't even take regular photos. I do. But in this situation, I want me to be the focus. I don't want you to look at all this stuff behind me. And the camera does pretty good. However, still, if I take that same photo with the rear camera, it's going to be on it. It's going to be so clear, it's ridiculous. And let me go ahead and do it. Same photo, same spot, much more sharp, much more detailed, much more clear. Colors are about the same. They're still pretty accurate, but it's just a good photo. So I think they should improve on that camera. At least they didn't do an under display camera, but they really genuinely have to work on video quality. So a lot of people were concerned about the borders on this device. And I'm a realist. I'll try to be as honest as possible. Now, the borders on this particular device obviously are a lot thinner. Oh, drop test. So when Google decides, they can shrink the border. But unfortunately, they might have to shrink the borders and then put the display under the camera, under the screen, and that's just trash. I mean, even this expensive device, look at the photo quality of this inner display. Let me see here. Let me flip this bad boy around. Here. And that's another thing. You can't even do a portrait shot on the inner display for Samsung. Look at this garbage. It's trash. It's horrible. Garbage. This is why you don't want an under display camera if you're not going to do it right. Trash. But that's not what it's about. It's about the bezels. So Google can shrink their bezels, but they might have to move to an under display. And if they do that, if they do shrink the bezels, I would say make a cutout on the screen for the camera, because it's going to be trash, just like this Samsung's front inner display camera, if in fact they do it that way. Nonetheless, they need to work on that quickly. Now, bezels, they can be shrink down. It can get better. There might be some sacrifices, but it can be done. Now, Another thing, if you noticed, the display on the Samsung phone way more vivid and punchy and more bright. Google's device, and look at where it was at. It was at like 70%. I have to crank it up to get that extra boost of a Samsung type vibe with the Pixel Fold. Yeah, I got it on auto, so it's adjusting accordingly, but this display definitely needs improvement. I mean, I'm giving you honest feedback on this because this is my daily driver. Oh, I like it. I like it. But the software is what keeps me here. With those things that I've pointed out, fix the camera quality, the video needs to be worlds better. Fix the design on the back. Fix the hinge, chop off some of this hinge and make it a little bit slimmer, or, a little bit, just get rid of that bulky, boxy feel on the edge. And then, improve the quality of the inner display. Make it a more vivid, more punchy, more vibrant. With all of that, I can make this a very long list, but I'm going to chop it down and maybe save it for a part 2 or something. But the last thing I want to see them improve is the borders of the device. While I like a rounded device, you've always heard me say that, this feels much better. The flat sides is what I'm talking about. Nothing more, nothing less. The flat sides make for a more premium feeling device, in my opinion. Now, they both feel the same. They both feel premium, but the flat side, remember I told you I like the flat size on my iPhone. I like the flat size on here. This isn't a slab device like these, so it feels different, believe it or not. But the flat sides on the devices, on folding devices, makes it feel better. It makes it feel better, and this is my personal opinion. So improve on that. Fix your camera quality, Google. Fix this ugly design on the back. Drop the size of that hinge a little bit. Give us a better looking display on the inside. Do something with these things. Make it to where it feels like what it cost. Like when I pick up these two devices, I know this cost $2,000. I don't know that I paid $2,000 for this. Make sense? I can't be any more honest than that. I can't be. That's about as honest as I could possibly be. Period. So while this is a phenomenal device, use it daily, love it, it's great, it needs some improvements. And those are a few that I could point out right now. Now, the last thing I want to talk about in this long, lengthy vlog that you hung in there with me with, hopefully, is the color options. When Google started doing blue and stuff like that and coral, man, I was pumped. I was like, yes, that's nice. However, they brought 2 colors for the Fold. What? Porcelain and Obsidian? Come on, son. That's a slap in the face for the price. If this device was deep red, ooh-wee, with like a matte size like this, ooh, God, dog it, Google. Deep blue, sky blue, oh my goodness. There's other colors besides black and white. Period. Anyway, what improvements do you want to see for the next Pixel Fold if in fact they do it? It's your man Jay. Sound off in the comments. And remember, I gave all you haters of Google a chance to exit, so I don't want to see you in the comments if you don't rock with Team Pixel. This is a Team Pixel exclusive. Now holla at me in the comments. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.